Hello everyone. I want to get outside a little bit. It's actually really pretty today where I'm at in Queen City. I always tell people like Charlotte is definitely one of the prettiest cities that I've ever seen. But yeah, I want to get outside. It's Sunday, and in our household that means it is sports day. It still cracks me up. I am a creative person, I'm an artist, and yet I have been blessed with two little athletic creatures, and so a lot of my day is sports. And that shocks people. It shocks people because when I look back in the beginning stages, when I first started doing theater and started getting really more serious about doing theater, it never occurred to me that that was something that I could actually pursue full time. It never, ever occurred to me, even though I loved it, even though I was super passionate about it and still am, even though every moment of my day was either memorizing or building sets or being around creative people. Like I am an actress. I love it so much, but it never occurred to me that I could make that something to pursue. And it's because now I can look back and say it's because of my envisioning the life of a professional artist, creative person, actor, what have you. I really thought I would have to give up everything. I thought I would have to be single forever. I thought I would have to just be on my own alone forever and ever, and that didn't sit well with me. That wasn't me. That works for some people, and yeah, there are a lot of single creative people and they're perfectly happy, or there are a lot of creative entrepreneurs that live in huge cities and have a very urban lifestyle. That is something that happens, and that's cool, and they are living the life they want, or I hope they are. And that's not what I wanted, though. I wanted a family of my own. I wanted to be married in a what we consider a traditional marriage. I wanted to have kids and a backyard and go to soccer games, and I wanted that, and I wanted to be an actor, and I wanted to have this artistic career, but I could not reconcile these two facts because I'd never seen it, and I wasn't aware that I had that choice, that I could craft a whole life around it, and that's where the mindset part comes in. So I want to take a little bit to talk about family. This post reminded me because while I was at, I'm a soccer mom. Yeah, soccer mom. And sometimes it feels weird because of when people meet me and they ask me what I do, and I tell them, oh, well, you know, I'm a voiceover artist, and I also have my own online coaching company for mindset coaching, and they're shocked. They're like, oh, okay, well, that's odd, because most of the other moms are working completely different jobs, or either they're homemakers or they're working corporate jobs, or just different jobs. And it's funny because they all want to talk to me. They're like, that's so interesting. Tell me more. Tell me about it. I've never met anyone like you. And I'm like, it's a job. It's a creative job, but it's a job. And one mom in particular, and this cracked me up because I've known her for a while. She's been connected to my kids for quite some time. And I was talking to another mom about my voiceover work, and it turns out it was a good connection because the other mom works at a corporation and she works in the marketing department. So I was like, oh, here's my card. Next time you need voiceover, she goes, we do use a lot of voiceover. I'm like, score. So then this other mother came over. She goes, did I hear that you were a voiceover artist? I'm like, oh yeah. She goes, how'd you get into it? And I told her, it's a common conversation. So I told her, I said, well, actually my undergrad is in theater arts. I've been an actress for quite some time. And she's like, I never knew this about you. She goes, I did acting. I'm into theater too. And I'm like, oh, like, how did we not know this? Well, it turns out, like, she also grew up, did a lot of theater. She was how I was back in the day. She did a lot of theater. She loves it. She loved doing it. And then somewhere along the lines, it started veering off from what other things that she wanted from her life. And she misses it, she says, but then she brushed off the whole conversation, and not in a bad way. Nothing about this was a rude conversation. She was just like, oh, but you know what? It's fine. It's totally fine now, because now I can, I work with my kids, and it's so much better. But there was something in her tone that was like, is it though? Now, if you love working with kids and you find that that is your passion, sometimes in this journey, you will find that it's not what you started off wanting, but you do genuinely love it even more. And that's awesome. And that's actually the goal. I wasn't 100% convinced with her tone, because she did say, oh, I miss it. She said a bunch of times, oh, I miss it so much. Oh, I miss it. I miss it. And I'm like, well, if you miss it, then you should be doing it. And there is nothing saying that being a creative entrepreneur means that you can't have a family. Because when you start saying that, then you're putting it on yourself that you can't. You're making that decision. Because think about it. And pick an art. Pick any art. Pick any person that you know that is a professional artist. Pick any field. And I'm pretty sure you can find in that field men and women that are married. Men and women that have families, men and women that have pets and a house or an apartment, or live in the country, or live in the city, or have a big house, or have a small house, or make a lot of money, or make a little bit of money, or have a big car. Like, you can come up with any combination. They exist. People exist. There's not one well, I'm an actor. I speak well. There's not one right way to be a creative professional. There's just not. There's hundreds of ways to find a life and create a life that works for you, and that's what it comes down to. So the idea that you can't have something because you are choosing a career, that's kind of hard for me to swallow. Now, it might not look the way you envision it to look, and that's part of the fun, you guys. That's part of the fun. You're a creative entrepreneur. If you're watching this page, I'm assuming that you are creative. Either you're currently a creative professional of some sort, or you really want to be a creative professional of some sort at some level. So being creative means that you don't just look at, I have two choices and that's it, and I need to make that decision. Being creative means that you look at an outcome that you want to achieve, and then you start to dissect it, turn it upside down, look at it from different angles, look at your resources, change the tone, change the color. You can create whatever life. You can pursue and approach your life the same way you approach a creative project. There's not only one or two ways to go about it. There's so many different options, and there are new options that haven't been discovered. That's why you're creative. You're creating new things. You're creating a new life. You're creating the life that works for you. It doesn't matter if it's never existed before. You're starting anew. You're making it happen. So once I got past that, once I got out of the mindset that there's only one way to do something, and that it is a busy day on my street. Once I got past that, I don't owe it to anyone to live a certain way. I'm not under any obligation to do it the way someone tells me to. I don't have to have my life go the way that I assume it's going to. Like, I'm under no obligation to live the way someone expects me to or tells me to. It is always a party on my street. Like, I mean, I'm happy that people are having a good time. It is, I told you, it's a beautiful day, so everyone is out and about. Summer is being extended, so it's very, very exciting. And I'm gonna try to walk around a little bit because I don't want to soundtrack to my thing. But once I came up with that and accepted that I don't have to do it the way someone tells me to. I don't have to only have one or two ways of pursuing my life as a creative artist, because I don't like those ways. They don't fulfill me. They're not enough for me. And that opened up a whole new everything. Like, that changed my whole life. So yeah, I can be an actress and like football. I can be an actress and be a soccer mom at the same time. I can be proud of my children and be a very, very happy mom, and still go to rehearsals and drag my kids to rehearsals with me. I'm I might be the only mom there. I might not be. I might be the only mom there and inspire another mom, which inspires another artist, and so on and so forth. So the more you live in your truth, and that's what it comes down to, be truthful and authentic and honest. You pursue your creative projects with truth and authenticity and honesty. You should create your life the same way. I have to turn around because I'm getting away from my connection. So I guess you're just gonna have to have the soundtrack. That's just what's gonna happen. So you should be pursuing your life with the same level of authenticity and realness. And that comes down to, are you truly doing the things you want to do, or are you doing things that other people are telling you that you should have, or you should do, or you should be, or you should exist? Because in that, you're going to find you're never going to get the full abundant life that you want, ever, ever, ever. So gosh, it's just, I'm trying to find the best. Okay, this one's good. Oh, next to the pretty ivy. But and you can try to blame your lack of where you want to be on other people. You can say, well, I can't do this because I have children. Oh, I can't do that because my husband or my wife won't let me. I can't do that because my mom will be so disappointed. I can't have that. So sometimes we use our families as excuses to not getting or doing what we want, and that doesn't fly either. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. You might have to have some difficult conversations. You might have to confront some uncomfortable truths. You might have to level with people, but it's not their fault. You're not doing the life that you want because you want to one day have children. You're not lacking in your abundant creative life because of somebody else. I mean, it would be silly for me to sit there. If I sat there and said, I can't be an actress, and I actually did for a long time, I can't be an actress because I really want to have kids one day, and so I can't do this until I have kids. Well, that's saying that there's no families that act, and that's just not true. Now, if you are doing everything on the side, say you are living a corporate life and you are acting in for free in amateur productions, and you love it and you love your life, great, have at it. There's nothing saying you have to have a professional life if that is what you want. That's the key. If you're perfectly happy and you're looking around and you're like, I have an amazing, abundant, full life, then you're on the right track. You're golden. Keep on living. Once again, I'm assuming if you are watching motivational videos that you're feeling like you want a little bit more. If you're talking to other people going on and on about how you miss it, 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 then do something about it. Go do something about it. Don't live a life of lack. You don't have to. You really don't have to live a life of lack. Go get it. And I was not going to argue with her or lecture. I just like, well, if you ever want, and I gave her a couple of resources. I said, hey, you should check out such and such, and you should come look at this open call, and this is great. She's like, oh, and I'm fine. And hey, I get to make their costumes, and I get to watch them succeed, and that's awesome. I love watching people succeed. That's why I do this coaching. But I like watching people succeed knowing that it's not me. I'm satisfied that I have given something, but I don't expect anything in return. Don't give anything to someone if you're expecting something in return. If you expect something in return, now it's a job. And then you get paid, and that's something different. And it goes into, now you're a professional. So, because then you get into like really uncomfortable codependent relationships. So what if the day will come, and then my day might come, her kids are like, I'm just not that into this. My mom encourages me to do this. She makes me do this, and now I don't want to do it anymore. Now what? Is she going to get mad at her kids? Is she going to feel uncomfortable? Is she going to have like codependency withdrawal because her kids don't like to do it as much as she does? I hope not. So stop blaming your family. It's not your family's fault where you're at. It's not your parents' fault that you didn't get the drum you wanted. It's not your grandmother's fault for not getting you the best paint equipment. Whatever has happened to you in the past has happened to you. But you can make decisions. You can craft a whole new life. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's. It really doesn't. As long as it's working for you and it makes you happy. It doesn't matter if you are traveling all the time and someone is watching your kids and that's not how you were raised. It's okay. Are you happy? Are your kids happy? Great. Are you living in abundance? Do you feel like you have like an amazing life? Then go for it. Make your life work for you. It's yours. Just like you would make a work of art or project that you are working on, you're going to make it work. So I like to give a little how-to at the end. My arm hurts. I'm like, ugh, all these like sticks. How you go about doing that, start from the end. And that's one thing I love in that book I was reading on The Path of Least Resistance. Just like any other project that you're doing, you start from the end. Envision and imagine, what do you want it to look like? And this is where like vision boards come in, and writing letters to yourself, and it doesn't, you can do all that. You don't have to. You're a creative person. You have plenty of imagination. What it comes down to is focusing your mind and your imagination on this area. But take time to daydream, envision, write it down, draw a picture, type a story about it. I don't care. Focus on, what do you want your life to look like? Start from the end. What do you want it to look like? The more you take the time to get the details and dream about what you want it to look like, the more those opportunities will start to present themselves to you to bring that vision to fruition. It happens every single time. It has happened to me my entire life. Now, whether or not I take advantage of those opportunities, that's up to me. And sometimes I don't, because I feel blocked, or I have convinced myself, like I talked about, that, well, that's not the way it should be. No, I can't. It's not the way. It's not the right way. That's not the right way out. You don't worry about the how. That's not your concern, the how. You focus on what you want it to look like, and be open to those opportunities as they present themselves to you. And you are going to be just so amazed and happy and pleasantly surprised once you start accepting and being open to it. For years, I had a very strong idea of the how it should be. I should be able to work 60 hours a week in my corporate job and make all that money and have that nice, perfect veneer of a life, and also work another 40 hours in theater after hours and be able to have my kids go. I should be able to do all of these, and it'll be fine and everything will be great, because that's how it's going to happen. Meanwhile, the reality was, I had a very strong vision of what I wanted. I wanted to work as a creative professional, and I always have. But I was so strong about how it was going to play. Plus, I was hearing feedback from the world around me, and that's what created my idea of like, well, it's got to be this way or nothing. So that like high need for control. So while I had that vision, every time I tried to execute in my high need for control, every tactic fell apart, and every tactic felt awful. I was so exhausted. Every time I tried a new tactic, I get so exhausted, because they were never going to get me to the vision. So good for me that I had a vision, but then I was so just so hell-bent on how it was going to execute, how it was going to do it. And that's where that control part comes in. You have to let that part go. You don't have any say about the how. Let the how happen. That's the beautiful part. Like, that's the journey, you guys. The how is the journey. You focus on keep your vision, keep positive about like what you want it to be, how you want it to look in the end. So keep that beautiful project in the end open, and then let the how happen. Just let it happen. But it's not you can't blame your family. You can't blame it. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. And you can still have all that if that's part of your vision. So yeah, just focus on the beautiful vision if you want. So yeah, if you want to just do something creative on the side, and like I said, it depends on where you're at in your creative journey. If you are someone who's like, I don't want to do this professionally full time, what I really want is to actually sell something that I've done, but I'd like to do it part-time. I'd like to do it on the side, but get recognition and paid for it. Great. Start there. If you are currently a creative professional, say you're currently someone who gets paid, but you're not getting paid a whole lot, and you have this vision of being considered the top of your field and not worrying much about bills and really living a whole life that would feel just abundant and rich while doing your creative passion and getting paid for it in a way that you can sustain yourself and survive or thrive, great, you can make that happen. Because it really doesn't matter. I'm not here to say that there's only one way to be successful. So for those that are watching thinking like, there's this chick saying that everybody needs to quit their jobs and be, you know, make origami for a living. No, I'm not saying that at all. If that's what you want to do, have at it. And that would be really cool. Like, that sounds really cool. And, you know, post pictures, because I would love to see really intricate art like that. But if that's what you want to do full-time, do it. If that's what you want to do part-time, do it. If you don't even want to get paid for it, you just want to try it, and you just want someone to put it in a magazine or post it online or say something about it, great, do it. You get to determine what it looks like. It is your life. You get to use the same energy, devotion, passion, skill that you use to create your art and your creative endeavors. You get to use that same thing to create your entire life. How amazing is that? I think that that is the thing that gets me jazzed up. I have my own art and I have my own voiceover business, but I do this because I love to see other people create. I do. I love to be around creative people. I'm so inspired by all of you. I'm inspired by the new things you come up with. I'm astounded when someone takes two disparate ideas, puts their magic on it, and creates this brand new thing that didn't exist before. I love that. I love it so much, and that's why I do what I do. Sometimes I even get paid for it. Sometimes I don't, but I'm still going to do it because I love it. So that is why I'm here, and that's why I just want to focus on that. Like, you don't have to give up dreams of connection and family. You don't have to have a life that someone tells you. There's not one way to go about this at all. My gosh, at all. You have in your mind ways that we didn't even know existed until you put it forth. So put it forth. I want to see your stuff. Like, I want to see your stuff. I want to see what you come up with. Me personally, even if you're getting bad vibes or feedback from other people saying you shouldn't do this, you can't do this, you're too old, you're too young, you're a mom, you're a dad, you're an uncle, you're an aunt, you're a grandmother, you have 2 dogs, you have no dogs, you have no blah 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 blah. Don't listen. I want to see what you create. I want to see it. Me personally. The rest of the world does too. So just remember, you don't have to execute on your creative life in any one way. You get to choose how it's going to look. All right. So on that note, and as far as the soccer outcome, we did not win today. I say we. I didn't do anything. My son. I was just a good cheerleader. We did not win. But he did score a goal. And he was very proud because he's a very good player. And I'm very proud of the work that he does. And so, yeah, you can be a parent and still be an artist. You can. So yeah. All right. So I'm going to go back in. I have some more writing to do. I've been working on a project. Started a new project that finally, it was nagging my head and I just can't ignore it anymore. And then I have rehearsal. And it's going to be amazing. And and I love it. I love the life that I've crafted. I love knowing that all of this work slowly builds up to get me one step closer to wherever I need to be. So yeah, it's a good existence, and I like watching it shape up to what to my vision that I have for my life. So, all right, enough of me going on and on. Get to it. Ooh, dogs are freaking out. So get to it. You have projects to work on. Go work on them. Find even 5 minutes today to brainstorm, work, whatever. Just make your creative projects happen. All right? All right, guys. Till next time. I'll talk to you later. Bye.